Please welcome the filmmaker Claire Denis. Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you.
This is probably the third or fourth time that I've seen the film, and I think what struck me this time is that it's almost as if Isabelle is too good a listener, because she gets caught up in everyone else's stories and everyone else's ideas of what she should be, what they're doing. Does that do you agree with that, or?
I think she has the weakness of a very strong woman, you know. She's strong with herself, strong with her life. She's bold, and because of that, she's very fragile, you know. So the last person talking could convince her, and it's touching, I think.
Yeah, no, it's.
I mean, I'm not speaking about the film, but I think of this kind of person who was solid, you know, but in the same time very fragile. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if the key scene is when she's talking to her her friend in the bathroom, and she goes through this whole run of emotions. You know, at one point she's saying, "I thought my life was extraordinary," and then the next day I realized it wasn't. It was terrible.
Yeah.
You know, she's just so present in the moment.
I think let's speak about Juliette.
Yeah.
Juliette is present in films because she's not passive. She's entering the film, you know, like a truck.
Yeah.
And she's not going to let it go, you know. She's present all the time. And when I told her that the rest of the scene was to go downstairs in the toilet, not to stay in the main floor restaurant, she understood, of course, why I suggest that location, because it's the kind of place where you almost use the location as an accident to be able to speak very openly about yourself in a sort of privacy of those toilets. But it was on location and the real toilet of the place, and it was very small. And for two actresses and the camera and the sound, we were squeezed in, and it was very intense. And Juliette was so great.
Yeah.
She did it. It's easy to do sequence shot with her because she, first of all, she likes it, and she is able to capture different rhythm.
Yeah, no, you can. There's such a distinct rhythm to each of her, you know, her scenes with the different men. You know, like with the actor at the bar. You know, there's very much, you can feel her just listening, and he's just going on and on and on and on. I mean, he's kind of hopeless, isn't he?
It's hopeless. Yeah, is in loop, but in a way, all those characters are in loops. You know, even the last one at the end.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know, is the worst. Is you can't stop. You can't stop it. Go on and on.
I mean, it's like birds singing. They just keep singing the same song.
Yeah. I think those I think the film is made of 34 blocks, and like bricks, you know, and with and I explained to Juliette that she had not to think about the film was built with those blocks, and she has not to think about and the next day and a month later and things like that. I wanted her to forget what is in between the blocks, the sort of time passed or chronological order, and to have a time for each block. So I think this was very helpful for all of us.
Yeah. And when you talked to her when you first talked to her about the project, did you present it as something comedic, or is that just something that kind of comes out in it? Because it definitely, there are these moments where there's these really great moments of comic timing, you know. But yeah.
No, I must say that it's weird to admit that, but when I first spoke to the producer, he wanted me, he thought I could adapt some fragments of Roland Barthes. And I said, no, we are going to write our own fragments. And I said, because to be honest with you, for me, those fragments of Roland Barthes or ours, for me, there is only one title possible. It's Agony, because it's love, it's agony. Yeah. So we wrote with that word agony, but each time Christine, we were working in a cafe. It was our method, and it was very light, and I was enjoying each new scene, because then I would ask Christine to read it loud to me. And I was laughing all the time, although I was aware it was a tragedy, you know. But I couldn't stop laughing, because there is such a distance in this hypnotic rhythm of words, you know. So it creates a sort of a rhythm, a distant rhythm. So it's like, oh, this song, I've heard it before, you know. Oh no, not this, you know. Yeah. All these little blocks you recognize. And I thought only Christine and I are going to laugh about it. But then on the set, and Juliette at the beginning, when she was learning her line, she told me, wow, it's really, it's hard, it's very hard. And then, but on set, I don't know, it's probably because I felt like that, we kept laughing, even the crew, we were laughing. And then I went to the editing room, everything. I thought it was only my own point of view that was making it a comedy. And then when the first screening took place in Cannes, the audience was laughing loud, and the crew, some of the crew, Juliette, some of the actors, and Christine were there. We were there, the producer, and we were, wow. For once, people are laughing at my films.
That's right.
Won't happen again, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's different than the end of Bastards for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or The Intruder.
Or The Intruder, yeah. I mean, the ending of this film, I have to keep from laughing when I watch it, just to see him keeping on circling and circling and circling, and then the credits roll.
Looping around her like a little plane, you know?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really one of my favorite endings, period. And the same thing. I think you must be kind of a master of endings between this and the ending of Beau Travail, with the dance at the end of that.
Yeah.
It's almost as if,
Yeah, I thought by asking Gérard Depardieu to do this part, I was it was a very happy moment, because of course everybody can recognize Gérard Depardieu, but it's also a fake character, because in the scene before you saw the real man in a car with a woman who tell him, it's between you and me, it's finished. So and then he is having with Juliette is acting,
yeah,
and is trying to capture her. So I thought it was great to have him, and I thought I was sure he would understand the comic, the comical sense of his presence. Back to the window in the shade at the beginning, his huge body, facing her tiny figure. I really love that little placement.
Yeah, and saying this kind of pseudo mystical language is kind of ridiculous. I mean, he's also so interesting in this film. The way you introduce him, the way you get to him in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, that by a scream. Yeah, and by this cut, that's like the most dramatic cut in the whole movie in a way.
Yeah. It's the most dramatic. It's even more hard when Juliette is with the bank guy is saying it's finished. It's on the phone, but to be in a car with someone, a woman you've been with, who tell you, no, really, I think it's not going to work. I think it's better. I like you, but really, no. It's so hard, you know.
Yeah, you can't escape.
Yeah.
It's a very close space.
And I wanted that little scene because I wanted him to be more attractive as in this character of the clairvoyant, as someone who is also in pain.
Right. Yeah. He knows what he speaks of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the audience for questions.
Sorry, I'm talking and talking.
Oh no, I'm sure. Yep, in the back there, please. I'm gonna repeat the question so everyone can hear. Want to start with that one, maybe? The first idea. He just has this idea that the laughter of the audience is actually kind of reacting to the pain that they're feeling. I don't know how you feel.
I understood. Okay. Actually, I don't think so. I think it's not a nervous laugh to get protected from pain. This is not the same. The laughing comes from the fact that because it's not a first love, she's a woman of middle age, and she's looking for, now she knows it's the moment for her to find a real true love. Enough is enough now. She needs to find a real true love. And there is a sort of quest and an urgency in that, But on the other hand, all those men, all those stories are really pathetic, you know, and because it's only through dialogues like that, you know, like people are trying to get what they want or to escape. I think it creates a sort of a relation, as if, for me, for instance, is because I recognize the comedy of life in a way, the strange situation in which, if we know those situations before, if we have been through, it's not possible with the first love, you know, when you're 15 or 16, you can't laugh about that because the despair. But in that case, the obstacles are so well known, you know, that I think it creates a sort of humoristic situation. Maybe?
Maybe she's disillusioned by the concept of love.
Oh, you think she's disillusioned? Oh, no, I don't think. I think the last image, when she's smiling open, now I think she's expecting, she's hoping.
But she's setting herself for failure all the time.
She's safe?
Setting her, she sets herself up for failure.
What? She?
That she's setting, but she keeps setting herself up for failure. So I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if this kind of presuppose when you are in your life, in your own life, with your own pain and your hopes, you are more at the primary. You know, you don't have this twist. I don't think. I think hope is stronger. Disillusion, for me, this woman is not disillusioned, not at all.
No,
She's full of hope.
Maybe we'll give someone else a chance to ask a question up here in the front. The question is whether, sorry, just to repeat, the question is whether Claire Denis discussed with the cast whether true love exists and whether destiny was related to that.
The cast and the writer.
And the writer, sorry.
I mean, for the writer and me, it was, we know each other well, and I think it was something we knew about each other. Those, you know, it was not something we were discovering, you know. No, it was the plan, you know. And do I have to discuss that? I think film, for me, it's not a discussion with cast and writer. First of all, it's writing a script with a sort of, if I am writing with someone, it's a sort of collusion of two spirits, you know, and to create a kind of narration that give space for emotion or, you know, feelings. But with the cast, I hate that word, the cast. For me, they are actors, actresses, you know. They are my companions. I never consider the cast, you know. This does not exist for me. And I don't say that because I know the word, but I never use it because I think it's put a distance. Those people, all those actors are my friends. I like them. I've been choosing them with love and friendly, you know. So I do not discuss. I discuss, for me, it's losing time. We are in the work, you know. We are inside. So there is no discussion. We don't discuss about, do you think true love exists? Maybe not, but maybe we do hope sometimes, you know. That's human nature. You don't need to discuss that. You all know, or maybe you don't, but I'm sure you do.
There's hope. Another question there in the back, yeah. The question is about the process of the filmmaking.
I understood, but
yeah,
you have
just
to repeat,
for the repeat. Sorry. The question is about the process, and the audience member has read that you don't shoot that many takes, and then you find the movie in the editing, and whether that's true or not, and whether the method on this film differed from usually.
Oh, not at all. I had a short schedule, and because of a short budget, and I made few takes because I never, with those people, the text was very solid, so there was no need for more takes. And we edit in 3 weeks because those blocks were there, No, very, I don't say very easily because it's never very easy, I like, when I was in New Orleans, the name of New Orleans is the Big Easy. But to make a film, even in fast, 3 weeks editing, 5 weeks shooting, it's not the Big Easy, it's the Big Uneasy. You know what I mean? But of course, this film was so built like I say, like a wall, So I knew which scene, the beginning, the opening is with the banker, and the end. So
you just put one in front of the other.
Yeah. There is a sort of the variation is important from the banker to the end,
Well, I think that's all the time we have, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.